we're doing, I guess it will be considered a serious live today. So a welcome break from the traditional ones that we do. Today I have Tequila McKnight, who is the program coordinator for Just Income GNV, which is a guaranteed income program for justice impacted individuals. We wanted to make sure that we did this live, that way that people can have it, can share it, and disseminate it in order to actually be able to answer many of the questions that people might have about the program. I'll start by introducing myself and my role in the particular program. Then I'll have Tequila to actually introduce herself and her role in the program. Then each of us will talk about why we are excited to be a part of this program, what the program actually is just in general, and I'll give you some background, and then we'll talk more about the program and the basis of it here in Gainesville. So, as a lot of people know, I am Shanae Jackson. Many people know me, I guess, as the accidental activist. This particular work that I'm doing with Just Income is not anything, it's who I am, but it's actually totally unaffiliated. And so, this is work, I am the research fellow for Just Income, which is the basic income pilot project. I'm really excited about that. Part of my particular role is to meet people, whenever we say justice impacted, that are people that have actually been impacted by the judicial system. And for this particular project, it's people that actually have felonies, whether they're felony convictions, whether they've been released from prison or jail here in Alachua County. And we'll talk a bit more about that. And that's one of the reasons that I'm very excited about this program. One of the issues with people that are justice impacted is it puts people on a cycle or like a hamster wheel, and it's very difficult to get off of that hamster wheel. You hear me often, I'm very frustrated about us charging minors with felonies because I understand that the impact that it'll have on their lives 20 to 30 years to come. And that means very great difficulty in finding good jobs, great difficulty in finding housing, even being able to do things like go and volunteer at their children's school. They're not able to do with that F behind their names. And so I wanted to take the time to kind of highlight that and the impact that it has, and then the difference that this project can actually make. So I'm going to have Tequila to actually introduce herself, say whatever it is she wants to say about herself, and then her role in this particular pilot project, and then we'll talk more about the project.
Hi, I'm Tequila McKnight, and I'm the participant coordinator for Just Income Gainesville, which is a pilot program that we're doing for guaranteed income for people coming out of prison, jail, or just getting on felony probation within the last 6 months. And that's from June 1st, I think, until December 1st. And we're doing right now is we're trying to get people to do those applications. We sent out a lot of letters, and we got
Tequila, before we even get there, let people know why this is important to you.
This is important to me because I am a justice impacted person. I've been in prison. I've been released now for 8 years. And getting out of prison, it was very, very hard. So I know the struggle, and that's mainly the reason that this program is happening here in Gainesville, because of that struggle that I went through. So
Absolutely. So next, I want to actually tell people what universal basic income is in order to help people to better understand that. So we actually, y'all know me, I always tell you we're gonna go to dictionary definitions, in particular things like that, to get an understanding. So Stanford University is one of the universities that's actually doing work on universal basic income. For our project, it actually is a collaboration with UPenn or the University of Pennsylvania. And the pilot project that is here in Alachua County is its own. So it's its own entity, and it's very different. There are a few other projects throughout the United States. There are some that are for single moms only. There are some that are for older adults. Ours is for people that are actually impacted by the judicial system. Universal basic income is defined in that it's distinct in form. It's different historically and geographically, depending on the area that it's in. It varies based on whatever the funding is. It's based on the level of payments and the frequency of payments. And we are going to talk a bit more about our level of payments, the number of participants, and the actual project itself. And we wanted to make sure to get this information because a lot of times you're so busy being told no, it's very difficult to put yourself through a particular process, understanding that typically you have to jump through so many hoops. universal basic income just in general, there is research that states that it is better for people to be able to get money that they can depend on each month and know that they actually have it, and not have to go through the bureaucracy like of filing for TANF or filing for food stamps and those particular things. So there are no strings attached whenever you hear universal basic income. I actually started to follow it back in 2017. There was a gentleman here named Shar that actually told me about it, and I started to follow their first initiative over in California. There was one of the mayors um, in California, in Stockton, California, that they were talking about it. And when they did their research project, they realized that the people who were giving their stipends, I believe theirs was $1,000, that they spent, because we often say, well, oh, you just give people money without them jumping through the hoops, they're just going to go blow the money. Well, with their project, they realized that people actually spent the money on needs. So they paid bills, they bought household things, they bought clothes. They were more prone to go volunteer their kids' schools. They were able to wait for better jobs. So the research actually shows that to give people a basically a floor where there's money that they know they can depend on, they actually made better decisions, and they weren't just decisions that were based on survival, but actually being able to start to make decisions that could put them into a better position. So I was really excited about it. So when we realized that this was happening here in Gainesville, pros of universal basic income is that workers could wait for better situations. So that means that people don't have to. And you heard me say that as it related to people being upset about people getting unemployment. We want to say, well, just go get a job. People realize that they didn't just have to go take any job. They could actually wait and get a better job to be able to provide for their families. And they could get one job instead of working two or three. So there was a better quality of life. It gives people the ability to return to school, to be able to care for sick relatives, to be able to care for older adults and other people, even to care for their children. And also, from the previous research, has shown that it has removed people from what's called a poverty trap. So, being on like food stamps and being on TANF and being afraid to get off those programs because there is no security net or there's no blanket. Also, it's more money for younger families, whether you are come from a good home. If you're someone that's fresh out of college or just fresh out of high school, you're prone to make less wages, because even a new college graduate typically has to get into a particular company and then work their way up, or work their way to get the experience in order to have a better job. So this helps people to be able to hold things together, whether being able to do that. So those are general things for universal basic income. Now I want to put it into the parameters of Alachua County. In Alachua County, we understand a few things. Number one, we have the biggest gap when it comes to disparities, the differences between the actual races. So this program is for everyone, but then also it's something that's equitable, so it'll help to close some of the gaps that we're seeing. We live in a city where 20% of the population is black, but more than 70% of the population is a part of the jail population. We live in a city where youth are 8.8 times more likely to be interact and actually to be arrested, and then adults are 3.8 times more likely to be arrested that are black adults. So that means you're already putting them on this path as it relates to being justice involved. And many people don't know this, but if you're in justice involved and you decide to do something like go to Santa Fe and better yourselves, you have to go in, you have to fill out a separate application, you have to go before a board, you literally have to jump through hoops. People don't have time to take off from work, especially if they have a menial job, to do these things. They don't have the time typically or the ability to actually jump through the hoops that Santa Fe wants them to jump through. But now having a basic income, they have an opportunity if they need to take that particular day off, if they need to go and do these things, which I will add, I believe are barriers they should not have, but they are barriers that are here. We understand that there's a limit on skilled jobs because we're not preparing many of the people in our community to come out of the school system and be able to get a job that pays wages. So imagine any of us having an additional amount of money per month in order to be able to utilize that to sustain and live. So it's almost like having a second job. But instead of you giving up the time away from your family or the time away from school, you now have the ability to do the exact same thing you would do if you weren't working multiple jobs. Now, for the overview of the program, what happens is every single person that has been what we call justice involved. So you either got released from a Florida prison within the last 6 months, and that's from June 1st to December the 1st. If you were released from the Alachua County Jail for a felony from June 1st to December the 1st if you got put on felony probation between June 1st and December the 1st, and you must be an Alachua County resident. What has happened is we sent out letters to everyone. We got lists from everywhere that we could, from the jail, from probation. And let me be clear that even when the presentation was done with probation and parole, not everybody was on board. Why? When they should be a part of rehabilitation, they weren't. And so that's why it's important for us to actually get the word out. So people that were depending on actually helping us to get the word out for eligible participants to come and fill out the application to be able to see if they're chosen may not get it. Also, we know when we have loved ones that get out of jail or that get out of prison, their address may have changed because typically where they're going is with family or friends, so they're often displaced. So they may not have gotten the letter that was mailed. We also know, like Tequila's done a lot of the calling, and even I've started with a lot of the calling. A lot of the numbers are no longer accurate. So we need your help. Anyone that you know that has been involved in these last 6 months that meet those parameters, to be able to have them to reach out to us. And they can reach out to me, they can reach out to Tequila, they can actually go on the website and there's a contact form and put in their information. So you reach out to us so we can get you a control number or a PIN number to be able to fill out the application. We want to be clear that everyone won't be chosen in this first, what we call cohort, which is this first set of applicants. 115 people will be randomly selected. So no, I can't put in a special word for you, and no, Tequila can't, in order to get you chosen. But literally, you taking the time to do this makes all the difference in the world, because if you are chosen, one of the people chosen, you will get paid $1,000, and then for the next 11 months after that, you get paid $600 a month. And the only thing that we would be asking is there'll be certain surveys that you have to do. We wanted to make sure that we put it out there. One of the biggest things is understanding not only is it important to do the survey and they are timely, but to also be honest about your answers. If you're honest about your answers, that's information. If we can show how this has made a difference in people's lives, then there's a greater push. If we do it and then we show that there is one, then that's a benefit to other people. But from every other project that has been done, we've been able to show and see not only did that immediate money make a difference, but it also people's lifestyle and the things they did actually made a difference. So imagine us being able to have that as leverage in order to push for universal basic income for more people, and not just people that are just as involved, the difference that it can actually make within our communities. Tonight, we wanted to be able, so if you have any questions, for you to be able to actually ask those questions so that we can get them answered. Tequila is going to talk more about people that she actually has talked to so far and a lot of the feedback that she actually has gotten. So we wanted to be very proactive in what we give you all. And I don't know if that feedback is moving, so I'm going to mute.
Can you hear me?
Hold on.
It's static.
You're going in and out.
I can't hear.
What about me?
Yeah, it's like staticking. I don't know if it's on the live, but I can't hear you. Turn off the. Okay, I can't hear you.
Is that better?
Okay, I can hear you, but it's still static. And I don't know if it's on the live.
Got a little technology. Hold on. I hope y'all heard me. Uh-oh, did we lose Tequila? Okay. So I'm not sure what took place. I hope that you all heard me. I think she's going to come back in. Okay, so they can hear. So hopefully Tequila will come back. While she does that, we will go. Okay, grab it. I'm going to go over the program and just read you from the particular website. So the program, I actually have put the website up for anyone to go check it out so you can actually share with loved ones, is GNV.org, and that's just Income Gainesville. So it's for 115 justice impacted people will be randomly selected. Drop right there. From our applicant pool to receive $1,000 the first month and $600 each month for the next 11 months. Payments are unconditional and there are no strings attached. Who is eligible? You must be an Alachua County resident who is released from a Florida State prison on or after June 1st, 2021, released from federal prison on or after June 1st, 2021, released from a Florida County jail with a new felony conviction on or after June 1st, 2021, began felony probation in Alachua County on or after June 1st, 2021. There'll be two application periods. The first application cycle will open, and it opened on November the 10th, and it'll end December the 1st. The second will open on January the 19th of 2022, and it'll end on February the 9th. Please, if you qualify, please look out for a letter from us. So you should have gotten that letter by now. Tiffany, the information will be added to the actual post once we're done streaming. But we did this because a lot of people don't read. And we're going to be honest, or because we're using social media, they're reading so very quickly, they overlook some of the impertinent information. Additionally, I want to point out there will be 115 selected. There'll be a second group of applicants that are randomly selected that would actually fill out surveys. Like I would call them and do a survey with them, and then they actually would get gift cards and things like that throughout this process. So it might be $50 or $80 or $100. So the amount of the cards actually will be, you would know when you do those. We want our people to know and understand that this feedback is so important to push for everybody being able to get this universal basic income. So we need everyone to participate so that we can make sure that we have a wide and a diverse applicant pool. And then once you are chosen, we need you to follow through and work alongside us in order to get the information that we need. Because this is the first step in ensuring that we have this income for everyone. And that's what's actually so big and so major about it. I'm extremely excited about it. We're extremely excited about the difference that it can make within the actual community and for people on a much larger scale in order to help people with a hand up and not a hand out. I am so sorry that we lost Tequila, but also if people have additional questions, they can actually reach out to me. My phone number is 352-216-6619. And you're more than welcome there. Also on the website, there is a contact button. So you're more than welcome to connect us in any of those particular ways. If you do have questions, you can actually call directly to the office. That phone number is 352-339-9393. Again, that number is 352-339-9393. I actually will post that here so people have that contact. If you happen to call and don't get someone, please leave a voicemail. You'll get a call back within 24 to 48 hours. The deadline for this first cohort or this first application cycle is December the 1st. So we're needing as many people as possible in order to follow up. And so I won't keep you if there's no questions. So this is a short live. Please share this widely. Share it via email, via text message, and actually on your pages and other places. We're really working really hard, as hard as we can, to make all the difference in the world. Y'all have a good night.